When Patricia Heller left the Atlanta airport in 2003 in a taxi, she would never reach her final destination.
The cab driver that was driving too fast lost control of the car, left the roadway and smashed into a grove of trees.
It happened on Interstate 85 in Hapeville, toward downtown Atlanta. The roads were slick after a recent rain. The impact of the crash killed the 51-year-old immediately, leaving behind 2 children and Ed, her husband.
It turns out parts of her were up the roadway from the collision.
This woman had her head taken off.
The taxicab driver pleaded guilty to vehicular homicide for driving with unsafe tires. The incident report shows the tires were bald with no tread. Patricia's family filed a lawsuit against the driver, the taxicab company, and an Atlanta city inspector who passed the taxi's safety inspection just a day before the crash. James Potts is the family's attorney.
You know, this woman lost her life for reasons that never should have happened.
After 20 years of civil litigation, including the Georgia Supreme Court, the case was finally put in the hands of a Fulton County jury this past March. When the jurors reached their verdict, they found the taxicab company liable for Patricia's death, but not the driver or the city inspector. What was your reaction?
I was shocked. And for these jurors not to also hold the driver who pled guilty to vehicular homicide and unsafe tires, and the city inspector, made no sense.
After the trial, the family's attorney spoke to some of the jurors. He wanted to know why they didn't hold the city inspector and the driver liable too. According to court documents, one of the jurors spoke up, claiming he was responsible for the verdict. That juror is Scott Kelly, seen here in his LinkedIn profile.
He said, quote, "I stopped that," close quote. Said it again, said, "I'm the one that stopped that."
Court transcripts show Scott identified himself as a corporate attorney during the jury selection process. But according to trial records, that wasn't the full truth. The Supreme Court of Illinois suspended Scott from practicing law in 2008 for withholding $10,000 from a client and other allegations, and since then has never been a licensed attorney in any state. Prospective jurors in Fulton County signed this form pledging to tell the truth about their occupation and watch this video.
That's why it's important to be completely honest and truthful during the jury selection process.
Patricia's family appealed the jury's verdict, claiming Scott's actions were misconduct and he misrepresented his professional credentials. In July, the judge ordered a new trial, writing the jury's verdict was contrary to the weight of the evidence. The order does not address the family's claims of jury misconduct.
He was not a lawyer. You got to tell the truth.
I was really upset.
Scott declined multiple requests for an interview to respond to the allegations. No one beyond the family has accused him of misconduct. According to the National Center for State Courts, jury misconduct claims are on the rise, from less than 50 reported cases in 2000 to nearly 250 2 decades later.
Now to convicted murderer Scott Peterson's fight for a new trial.
In criminal trials, jury misconduct can lay the groundwork to free convicted criminals.
The request for a new trial centers around whether a juror lied when she told the court she had never been involved in a domestic violence case.
And in some cases, jurors can face repercussions themselves.
Yeah, I do find you in contempt.
Including a potential juror arrested in April last year for live streaming court proceedings on her phone in the murder trial involving Atlanta rapper Young Thug. A crash that took the life of a wife and mother.
She was largely unrecognizable from the force of the accident.
And a family's long legal battle to hold who they believe is responsible 20 years later.
I just feel that I don't want to let the behavior that I've watched over these years get away with it.